Welcome to the video tutorial on how to run reports and review message histories in NotePager Pro. To review a history of messages, go into the View menu. Each option here allows you to review a different type of message. Scheduled will display all messages scheduled to go out at a future date and time. Pending will display a list of messages currently in the queue waiting to go out. Sent will display a list of messages that were successfully delivered, and Bad will display a list of messages that could not be delivered. History will display all messages, scheduled, pending, sent, and bad, and to run reports on these messages, we'll want to go into the Reports menu. If you want to run a report of sent messages, mouse over Sent Messages. If you want to run a report on scheduled messages, mouse over Scheduled Messages. Both sections have the ability to run reports based on recipient and group, date and time, or by carrier. For example, if we want to list all messages sent from the system between certain days at certain times, we would use the By Date and Time option. If we want to list all messages sent to a specific selection of recipients and groups, we would select By Recipient. If we want to list all messages sent to a particular carrier, we would select By Carrier. Let's go over the sent messages by recipient first. The start date and start time specify the beginning of the report, and the end date and end time specify the end of the reported data. Below that, we have these three options. Summary provides the recipient, sender, and message information for the reported messages. Details provides all information associated with the message in the database, including the name of the user who sent the message, the name of the machine that sent the message, and so forth. Totals only will only provide the number of messages reported on. Next, we have these three options. All messages will run the report on all messages, sent or bad. Good messages will only report on messages that were able to be delivered, and bad messages will only report on messages that could not be delivered. Below that, we have a few options. Here on the right, we have zero values. If you select a range of recipients to be included in the report, normally, any recipient that received no messages is not included in the output. If you select zero values, all of the selected recipients will be included in the report, even if they received no messages. And last, you can choose whether you want to print the report, print preview the report, output the report to a CSV file, or send the report as an email to an email recipient, or fax to a fax recipient. To preview the report to the screen, select the Print Report option and make sure that Preview is checked. Then click Print and select the printer, even if it's just a Microsoft XPS writer, and click Print again. When you do, as you can see here, the report will display on the screen. If you want to print the report after reviewing it, click on the Print button one more time. If you just want to print the report without previewing it first, select the Print option, then uncheck Preview, and click Print. Select the printer to send the job to, then click Print again. You can also have the report written to a file by selecting the Write Report to File option. You can then click on the ellipsis button and select where you want the file to be written. Then give the report a name, and when you're finished, click Save. Then click Print to output the report. You can also send the report as an email to an email recipient in NotePager Pro, or a fax to a fax recipient in NotePager Pro. To do so, select the Email/Fax Report to Recipient option, then click Apply. Select the email or fax recipient, then click Send. The Sent Messages by Date and Time report functions similarly to the By Recipient report, but will report on all recipients and groups in the program for the selected date and time range. The Sent Messages by Carrier function similarly, but will report on messages sent through a carrier or selection of carriers. The Scheduled Message reports also function the exact same way. So next we have the Statistics reports. These reports provide statistical information and can be run by recipients and groups the message were delivered to, by specifying a date and time range, or by the carrier the messages were delivered through. For example, let's say we want the statistics on all messages delivered within the last month. We could go to Reports, Statistics, by date and time, then specify a start date and time of a month ago, and an end date and time of today's date and time. We can also specify whether we want the statistics for all messages, just the good messages, or just the bad messages. And last we have the list reports. These reports will provide a list of recipients, groups, or carriers, and you can choose whether you want to report for the entire list or just a specific selection of recipients, groups, or carriers. This concludes the tutorial on how to review message histories and run reports in NotePager Pro. For more information, including how to send and schedule messages, please visit our website, www.notepage.net.